Peace. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. And let me just get ready here. I want to talk today about finding peace. And I just want to make sure that I'm live, and I am. So, okay. So I want to talk today about finding peace and embracing our own personal power through this art form of letting go that so many of us struggle with. And what I have found is that there is a kind of peace and personal power that so many of us are missing out on. And we are so scared to let go of the things that we think are keeping us contained and grounded in these socially acceptable boxes. And yet we find ourselves, even though we're trying to follow all the rules and keep everyone happy and do all the right things and never make mistakes, we find ourselves still coming up short of being good enough, no matter how hard we try. And we find ourselves exhausted, discouraged, and often living in fear and anxiety that comes with trying to earn our worthiness, trying to earn our lovability, trying to be good enough. And I would like to invite you today to consider letting go of those containers, letting go of those walls, those boxes that are keeping you striving so hard to be perfect, to be good enough, and letting go of that emotional prison, if you will, that was designed to keep you small, and replace it with this vastness that is available to you when you embody and embrace your intrinsic worth. Because there's a peace and a power to just being yourself that I think perhaps many of us have never truly embraced. And I think we're scared to embrace it because if we allow ourselves to let go of these things that are keeping us contained, these rules, if you will, of the world, of society, we're afraid that if we just follow our own heart and follow our own rules, right, for the kind of person that we want to be, the kind of life that we want to live, I think what we're so scared of is that we're going to do it wrong, and that we're not going to be good enough, and we're not going to be accepted, and we're not going to measure up, and we'll just go off the rails and become this total asshole, right? And the truth is that that's just such a lie, right? And when we live in the boxes and try and follow all the constructs and the rules and expectations and keep this person happy and keep that person happy, and we just go down all these rabbit holes of trying to fix, and it's never good enough, because the people who don't love you, when people look at you through a shattered lens, they're going to see a shattered person. And what I find is that we go and we try and put on their glasses and see what they're seeing and see what's wrong. We try to fix all these things, and it's still just not good enough. Because, like Brene Brown talks about living big, and part of that is generosity, right? And having a generous perspective of another person, and assuming the best, and being willing to have a conversation and listen and talk about what's going on for them and to work through problems. And I think that is such a valuable thing to do, especially when, with people that you really care about, that are invested in that relationship, that love you, that care about you, that are in your corner, right? It's so worth listening to those things and having those conversations and going through those practices. But where I see a lot of people spending so much of their energy is trying to get people to like them, approve of them, see them differently, when that person is never going to be willing to do that, right? It's like, how often have we done this, right? Or the person that we're trying to drag up that hill with us does not want to go up that hill. And I know that I've for sure spent a lot of time in my life trying to do that and trying to fix relationships where it's never going to be fixed, because this person they already have made up their mind about you. And so we're trying to change another person's mind and their heart, and they're wanting them to have a generous assumption of us when they already at baseline just don't. And so what I just want to say is that you're never going to win that battle. And what would it look like for you to be willing to just let go of all these expectations about how people see you, what they think about you, whether or not you measure up? And what if we stopped chasing our worthiness and we were able to just let go of the self-judgment, let go of judging them, right? Let someone be wrong about you. Let them have their experience. Let them think what they want to think. What if we could just take a breath and be in our, we're going to make mistakes, we're going to have failures, we're going to do things wrong. And what if we could just look at that and be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to consider that moving forward, instead of trying to spend so much energy trying to fix something that we're never going to fix, because life is 50-50. It's by design. We are human and imperfect. And when we are so afraid to just embrace that, to let someone be angry, to let a project be like, yeah, that wasn't my best work, and you can fix what you can fix, or you can say, I'm sorry, or you can try and do what you can do. But so often what I see people doing is chasing after their worthiness and trying to prove themselves. And I was listening to Glennon Doyle's podcast that she put out recently on her 46th birthday, about turning 46. And she talked about this idea of peace and power, and finding peace and just letting go of all the perfectionism, of all the expectations. And what does it look like to look inside and just find that connection with ourselves? Who do I want to be? How do I want to live my life? What's my purpose? What's my contribution? What would happen if I stopped beating myself up for all these things and just let the mistakes be there, let the imperfections be there, and still love myself anyway, and still be willing and able to get up and contribute and create more love, more contribution, more relationships, instead of spending so much time focusing on these ones that we're just beating ourselves up with, and we're fighting this uphill battle that we're never going to win. And so they talked in this podcast about the idea of a salah, right? And salah is a holy pause in sacred scriptures, where the text will direct you to take a pause, listen to the passage, and just let it sink in and absorb, right? And I love this idea of just taking a pause, because so many of us are afraid of transition. We're afraid of just taking a pause and letting things be the way they are and just sitting with them. We so often think we have to fix, as soon as something gets uncomfortable or doesn't feel good or someone's mad at me, it's like, oh, I have to quit the job. I have to quit the relationship. I have to go fix that. I have to, all this chasing. Instead of, what would it look like to just let things be? Let things be imperfect. Let things be the way they are, and to find our peace and our power and connect with ourselves in that moment. Can we love ourselves? Can we let go of all the shame and the self-judgment and the chasing? And that space, that salah, is designed to be intentional about listening to it, listening to your life, listening to what's going on, and just letting it nourish you and letting it change you so that you can move forward differently. And so I think, like I said, we're so scared to take that pause because we're terrified that it means that we aren't moving forward. We're terrified that it means that, we feel the need to like rush to accomplish the thing, rush to fix the mistake, rush to prove ourselves and to the world that we've made it somehow, that we did it right, that we're finally worthy, that we're finally measure up. And what they talked about in this podcast episode is that the reality is that true peace and power doesn't come from getting everything right. It doesn't come from making sure that no one out there thinks anything bad about us, because they just will. They're humans. They will. And it's like whack-a-mole. As soon as you get this one down, another one will pop up. And then, and so It's not about making sure that you have enough friends or make enough money or get enough titles or degrees or fun photos on Facebook, right? That's not where your peace is going to come from. That's not where your lovability or your worthiness is going to come from. It's actually just intrinsic. And so it comes from letting go of this idea that our worth and our relevance in the world comes from external things, right? That it comes from our roles, our goals, our social standing, our accomplishments, our accolades. I did a good enough job. I have this career that everyone, will pat me on the back for. It's like so often we're looking for that sense of worthiness and safety from all these external things. And what they talk about is that this idea of letting go, which is something I've really been learning a lot and has been so powerful for me, is that it comes from letting go of all the social and cultural brainwashing and these constructs, right? It comes when we stop trying to become somebody and allow ourselves to just become nobody. Right? And that's such a scary thing. But to feel that intrinsic worthiness and that love that exists in that place without everything that you've spent your life striving for. What if you just felt that worthiness and that love without having to have everything be perfect and have everyone think just the right thing and without having to have all the right things in your life? What if in your imperfection, you could just rest in it? This person's mad at me. This is what's going on with my kids right now. This is what's going on with my job right now. I don't have as much money as I would like to have, right? My bank account's negative. Whatever it is, can you in that moment take that holy pause, that Selah, to just be in your life and acknowledge, yes, this is what's wrong. This is my imperfection. This is my humanity. And notice, and I'm still lovable, and I'm still worthy, and I'm still so beautiful, and to find all that beauty and have that amazing relationship with yourself, even in those moments. And I think it's the scariest thing we could ever do but at the same time, it's where our true worth and our deepest, most intimate parts of our soul and our being can be found. And it's where we finally get to learn what enough is. What is enough? When will I be enough? How many mistakes do I have to stop making? How much money do I have to earn? How does my body have to look? What will be enough? And when we can find enough in this moment exactly as it is and stop chasing, there's such peace and such power that comes from that. And it comes from within when we finally learn to let go of all those things we're hanging on to. And it's something that those cultural and societal constructs and expectations will never give you. No matter how good you think you are at meeting them, you will always be working to earn it and maintain it. And there will always be another mistake you have to go fix, another thing about yourself you have to perfect in order to be okay. And it is such a losing battle. It's so exhausting. You never really get to experience the serenity of just having it, just being it. And that's such a powerful experience. And so I think it's in that stillness, in that emptiness, where everything is found. Have you ever been in that place where you thought all was lost and you realized, I just found everything? Everything. It was always right here. I've had so many of those experiences in my life, and it's so profound to be able to just let it all go. And it's okay. And I love you. Such a powerful experience to have with yourself. So I want to invite you to embrace that. And if this is something that you would like to experience for yourself, I would love to be able to help walk you through letting go of all the things that are getting in your way of just having that total unconditional love and peace for yourself. And there's such power in that. So whatever you might be wanting to let go of, it could be anger, self-pity, self-judgment. Maybe you're carrying a lot of fear or anxiety, or that feeling of just not being good enough. No matter what I do, it just feels like there's something always wrong, another thing to fix. And if you're ready to let go of some of those things, I just want to invite you to join us in a couple weeks here. We're going to be doing a free live event, and I'm going to walk you through what it looks like to let go of the things that are holding you back and to be able to step into this new kind of life where you have such emotional freedom. And it feels so amazing. So I'll put the link in the comments to register for that. If you're ready to step into that kind of peace and to let go of the things that are getting in your way. It's going to be on May 8th at noon Pacific Standard Time. And I will record it so you can get the event replay if for any reason you're not able to make it live. So go ahead and click on the link in the comments and register for that if this feels like something that resonates for you and you're ready to let go of some things, because it feels so good. All right. I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. I'm just going to have to figure out how to turn all this stuff off again.